Thank you, JB. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Ali Saeed. I am the co-founder at Connect Digital. Today, I'll be taking you through the new marketing intelligence, which is built on the Salesforce platform on Core. It's a fairly new product. I want to do my absolute best to answer all your questions, but because fairly is a new product, any questions that I might not be able to answer today, I'll take those away and I'll get back to you after the session. So just a reminder, forward-looking statement, please make your purchasing decisions based on what's available today. I'll be taking you through certain areas that's going to be on the roadmap. I might not have a date for those, but so like I said, just please bear that in mind as I'm taking you through the demonstration. So I've already introduced myself, but like I said, I'm a marketing champion, community group leader here based in Dubai. I work very closely with JB and Gilda, and this series has been, I hope that you found this series very beneficial. Everything is recorded and everything will be published on the MC Learning Camp YouTube channel. So as I mentioned, if you have any questions, I'll answer them towards the end of the session, and then anything that I can't answer, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So introducing you to the new marketing intelligence. As I mentioned, it's built natively on the Salesforce platform. So for those who know marketing intelligence, it's previously known as Datorama, which is it was a completely separate technology and a different stack. But given the trajectory that we're going right now with Data Cloud and everything that is built on Core, we've seen it with Marketing Advanced, we've seen it with personalization, and now marketing intelligence. Essentially, the new marketing intelligence on Core is powered by 4 key products, which are Data Cloud, Tableau Next, Agentforce, and Einstein. So all the features that I'll be showing you today and all the capabilities is powered by those key 4 components. And from a point-and-click configuration, we're using Data Cloud terminology. From building dashboards, if you're familiar with Tableau, you'll see some of the Tableau UI. The agentic sort of analysis and prompts, again, that's going to be powered by Agentforce, and any insights, any AI insight that's powered by Einstein. It's a very self-intuitive platform. It allows you to click point-and-click configuration from connected different data sources. Everything essentially is one place, and everything's out of the box, so you don't really need to necessarily go and heavily customize it. It's already pre-built for you, so it does save you a lot of time to create the dashboards that you need for your marketing performance. So I'll get into it. I'm sure the demo is more exciting than the slides. So when you first log into Marketing Intelligence, you're presented with this out-of-the-box overview screen, or the out-of-the-box dashboard. This is built in a way that it gives you all the information that you need from the channels that are supported in your instance, key metrics, which is on the right-hand side, so you can see your spend, your revenue, your ROI. So all that is already pre-built for you. You'll be able to see the campaigns that are running at the moment. Again, you can use drop-downs to check what's top performing, lowest performing. So this dashboard is fixed. So what I mean by that is you don't have the capability or the ability to customize this. This will happen when we talk about the marketing analytics and dashboard, which is powered by Tableau Next. But from an MI perspective, when you first log in, you're presented with everything that you need on what's going on within the platform. Typically, we would have an AI insight summary. This was working literally 30 minutes ago, but I believe it's just refreshing at the moment. So I'll go back into this and I'll show you what that looks like. But essentially, AI will give you an insight in terms of what's your most performing campaign, what's your lowest performing campaign, and some recommendations. So all that is built in using Agentforce. To get started, essentially the first part of this process, we have to look at data management. So this is broken down into three key areas. So data pipelines, which is essentially a way for you to ingest that data into the platform. So the Datorama terminology, you might familiar with data streaming. This is very, very similar to data pipelines. Then we have data enrichment. So with data enrichment, you can then essentially extend the data that you would have adjusted into the platform by either grouping it, by normalizing or harmonizing some of that data. You can also extend some of the data that you would have adjusted through the out-of-the-box connectors, and I'll take you through that. Data enrichment is actually powered by Einstein as well, so you can on the fly manipulate the data by using simple prompts. Then you have patterns. So typically when you ingest data, you would have a standing naming convention for your campaigns. So what you can do with patterns is you can split the data and define the positioning of the naming convention and extract data that you would need to then apply that particular dimension. And with that, I'll start with data pipelines. So if I click on new pipeline. So at the moment, there are, I believe, 14 out-of-the-box connectors, the most common ones. So you can ingest data directly from Amazon display network, from Google Ads, Meta Ads, LinkedIn, and so on. Now you might be questioning, the number of connectors that we have in Datorama right now is way more than what we have today. But there are going to be 10 to 14 new connectors being released at every release. So this list is going to continue growing, and we'll be adding more additional connectors down the line. But the most common ones that typically clients and customers need to go for is already available as out-of-the-box connector. So if I select Meta Ads and click on Next, you would have already had a predefined connection created into your MI instance. You can create a new connection, but since I have this already ready, I'm just going to click on Next. And essentially what you'll be presented here is two things. So here is the data set that's going to be available for you that you can map and select. Now, the beauty about this is that this is already connected between the data model that the Meta will give you, and then the data model that Marketing Intelligence will give you. So you don't need to do any manipulation. You don't need to do any configuration. It's a simple process where you just go through a 3-step process, and then you're deploying a data set directly into Marketing Intelligence. On the right-hand side, you'll see some terminologies that you might be familiar with, which is data cloud objects and terminology. So you can, what this does is as soon as you deploy, typically you would have to go and build a data model, and you would have to go and do some mapping to then ingest all that data from all the different social networks. But with Data Cloud, given that Marketing Intelligence is powered by Data Cloud, all this will automatically be created for you. So it will transform your data, it'll map it to the data model, it will create the necessary data streams, just start ingesting that data, so then it's refreshed at a scheduled basis. So all you need to do is go through 3 steps: selecting the connector, defining the connection, and then you hit deploy, and then you're all set. It will create that data set for you and ingest it into Marketing Intelligence. And once the data is ingested, as I mentioned, you typically want to go in and enrich that data. So when I click on data enrichment, we have two options. Okay, we have data enrichment by just defining the source, or you can just enrich that data with using Einstein. Given that Einstein is already pre-built, and it actually makes your life way easier from harmonization, from normalization to grouping that data, to extending that data, Einstein will do that for you automatically. So I already have this predefined, and what I'm doing right now is I'm selecting the data space. Again, data space as a data cloud terminology. So if you have multiple data spaces in your data cloud instance, then you would have different data sets created for each space. I've given the data enrichment a name. I've called it marketing channels, and then I've selected the campaign name dimension to enrich. So if I click on next, you're presented with three options. And what is your objective of this enrichment? So as I mentioned, we have normalization, and this gives you a brief preview on what it means by normalization. So if you have data coming in from Google Ads, from Meta, and from your email campaigns with different values, so you have mail with a capital M, you have mail with a lowercase m, and then from email campaigns, you just have a single value of M. With normalization, with Einstein, it automatically detects the text, and it will convert that to a unified value. So you have mail across all the different platforms. You can add additional instructions using Einstein prompts, and then again you can add additional manipulation if you wanted to. Then you have data extension. So with data extension, again, it will recognize what the field value is and what the field name is, and then essentially break those down into different categories. So from a Ford Mustang F-150 and an Explorer, it recognizes the category type. So it's, again, you don't have to do any custom manipulation. You can override this again by using specific instructions, but this is automatically built in, and it will automatically extend those values in your instance. And then finally, we have data grouping. Again, you can group certain values together. So we know Yahoo, Google, and Bing are all search channels. So it will recognize that those are search values, and then the value after grouping, you will have search. So it's very, very powerful from manipulation, from transforming your data, and it's all done by simple click and configuration. So I'll take you through some examples. So the first one is data normalization. And if I click on next, what it will do is it will provide me a preview of the current values in my data set right now, and then what the campaign name would be once it's normalized. So to give you a flavor on how you can then enrich it with Einstein, so as an example over here, I've got the audience name, which is male 18 to 24. So I can say replace M with male and add an underscore. Replace F with female and add underscore. Okay. So when I click on refine, you'll see these values change. So if I click on that, okay, so you can see right now that it added male. It didn't add the underscore. Maybe it wasn't very specific, so I could probably just change this to an actual underscore and hit refine again. There you go. So it replaced the value of M2 male and added an underscore. So you can then manipulate that data by using simple prompts and instructions in your within the Einstein area. If I go back and I click on data extension, again, just to give you a flavor of what it does. So it will recognize, again, based on the values that we would have ingested, it will know what the categories of values that you're trying to pull in. So again, from the campaign name, it recognizes that we have region. So we call it, this is US Midwest, APAC, India, and so on. It recognizes that there is a gender age within the audience. So over here, you've got male 18 to 24, and you can see that it continued to honor the instructions that I've given. Okay, and then the campaign type as well. So again, recognizing from the campaign name, we know that this is a display, social, search, and LinkedIn, and so on. So this is how powerful data enrichment is. And again, this is click and configuration, and then you're all set. Now, if I go back and click on patterns, so as I mentioned, with patterns, you can extract data from the naming convention of your every campaigns, and then you can associate different values to specific dimensions. So I want to call this channels and ads, and I'm going to select campaign name on the first touch. Okay, and click on next. So on the left-hand side, it will give me, again, a quick preview of the current data that I have. So if I select the first one and click on apply, so it split the data into 4 positions. So it recognizes that Northwest is the first position. The second position is your search and displays, and your essentially your campaign, and then the audience. So what I can do right now is I can extract this data to a particular dimension. So in this example, I'm going to select region. And then the second one, I'm going to select campaign. And thirdly, I'm going to do this for audience. Now with audience, as you can see, right, I still recognize those into 2 separate positions because of the delimiter that it automatically picked up, which is the dash. If I wanted to group the last 2 positions together, I just simply change the delimiter to an underscore. It will ignore the value towards the end, and then we can then ingest and extract that data to a particular dimension. Right. So again, a very powerful feature that you can easily manipulate and extract the data based on the data pipelines that you would have pushed through to marketing intelligence. All right. Just do this. All right. So next up, we have the semantic layer. A semantic layer is again a data cloud capability and also powered by Tableau Next. And what the semantic layer is essentially a data model specifically for marketing intelligence and for capturing campaign metrics. So this is already predefined. You can make copies of the existing semantic layer, and then you can then make some additional manipulation or add additional metrics. But given that MI is already pre-built with all the most common metrics from a campaign performance, whether it's CPC, whether it's media buying and website views and so on, this is already pre-configured. So there isn't really much to do on this slide, just for you to have an overview on how your data model is set up. But then if I go back and select the other one, which is a lock. So as you can notice, this is lock, which is already predefined and created by marketing intelligence. We have the one that you can manipulate and change depending on your requirements. And as you add the metrics that you need and your calculated fields and everything that you have from the left-hand side, there's actually a pretty cool feature where Einstein will then again show you the suggested relationships. So it shows you how you can connect UMA digital content to an individual. So if there's anything missing and there's certain connections were not correctly placed, then you can just use Einstein to then build that data model for you. What this will allow us to do then, once the semantic layer and the foundation is in place, this will empower the visualizations that we have on the platform. So when you create your widgets and when you create your dashboards, it always has to be on the back of a particular semantic model. So if I go back and take you to the next part, which is your marketing analytics. So when you first log into marketing analytics, you're presented with, again, dashboards that you would have created using Tableau Next. So on the left-hand side, these are dashboards that are created on this account, and you can create as many dashboards as you like. But every widget or every visualization sort of board that you can see. These are all powered by the data that you would have ingested via the pipeline, and also based on a data model that is set up in the semantic layer. So if I click on, for example, Meta Ads, you would see that these are all the metrics that are specific to Meta only, similar to Datorama, or even if you're familiar with Tableau, you can create customized drop downs or filters, so then you can then only view the data for a specific time frame or a particular campaign. So all this is configurable as per your requirements. If I click on Tableau Next Builder, and again, if you're familiar with Tableau, this will look very, very similar. So we have obviously the dashboards that you saw on the main screen, and then you have the visualization. So all these are different widgets, which then can be moved over to a particular dashboard. And again, to create a visualization or create a dashboard, it's very simple. I can click on Add and click on Visualization. You can see now it prompted me to select the semantic, the model, which is the out-of-the-box model. And again, it will provide me every attribute, every metric, every activity that was defined when on the semantic model. If I click on Select. So on the left-hand side, we're presented with a bunch of fields. You can then drag and drop these fields into the canvas for you to create your visualization. You can define what type of visualization is it. Is it a bar? Is it a line, donut, text, and circle? You can define the coloring, the labels. So it's, again, very, very easy to use, and it's all self-intuitive. So if I click on conversions, and I'm going to drag this as a column over here. And then I'm going to just say campaign name. Okay, so here. Okay, so again, it's in real time, you'll see a real view of how the visualization would look like. You have your campaigns on the left-hand side. You can, again, see the values. You can change these depending on the requirements, if it's a bind or a line. And again, you'll have a real view of how that looks like in real time. So all these are predefined based on, as I mentioned, the data that's ingested and the semantic layer that you would have already defined. If I go back and then create a new dashboard, very, very simple. You would have a blank canvas where you can just easily drag and drop a bunch of visualizations into the canvas itself. If I quickly go back and just show you one that's already predefined, which is this one. You can see over here, everything is configurable based on design and the content. So you can move things around as you see fit. You can change the drop downs. And then again, this will give you a real view of how your dashboard would look like once it's been saved. You can share dashboards with users on the platform. I've been told that sharing it with a public URL, that's something that's going to be at some point on the roadmap. But please, forward-looking statement. I don't know when, but that is possible in the near future. Okay. So if I then go back over here, and I'm going to go to the next part of this demo, which is goals. So you can define goals based on metrics that you would have ingested directly into the platform. So we have, these are predefined goals that are already set. And again, to create a new goal is very simple by just using the values that you would have defined what that goal is. So you can select which metric you want to define the goal with, and you can specify the duration and is it least or most depending on the requirements. So I'm just going to go and search for social likes over here. And then I'm going to define the start date. that goal. So I'm going to do from the 1st of April and towards the end of the month. And then you can define what that goal value is. So I'm going to just put in 50. Okay, so in real time on the right side, you'll see a visual of that goal in a sort of a widget format. You will see the current data at this point of time. There's no likes today, but as over time, this would be captured on a daily basis. So at the moment, based on the goal value that would have defined and based on what's been captured so far, this is on track. If, for example, I decided to change the duration to, for example, the 10th of April, you'll see the value change to say it's been achieved. And if it's a unrealistic number, I'm just going to put 50,000 on February. You'll say that it's been missed or off track. So again, you'll see a real-time view of your goal as you're defining the goal value, as you're defining the start and end date. So again, it gives you a real-time snapshot of how that looks. Okay. Next up, I'm going to show you Agentforce. So if I quickly go back to home. Okay. Now, the capabilities and the actions of Agentforce today is limited to only a couple of actions. Down the line, it will allow you to allocate spend into different campaigns. It will allow you to give you insights about creatives. But today, it's the only available action or recommendation is essentially pausing a campaign. So I can just say, I want to optimize my campaign. Okay, so it came back and asking me which channel that I want to select. I can obviously type this in again, or I can just select a predefined recommendation that Agentforce have come back with. So I'm just going to click on Meta Ads. Okay, so now it's asking me what is my objective for the campaign. Again, I can just select between these options, between 1 and 7, or I can just set the recommendation. So I'm going to select lead generation. So in real time, it's evaluating the ads in the instance. It will tell you was low performing, and it comes back with a list of ads and a list of recommendations. So if I click on View Details, it actually will show me a real-time view of the campaign name, the ad set name that was selected for that particular campaign. It's not the thumbnail is very small, but it gives you a quick snapshot of the creative that was used. I can click on View in Ads Manager. This will automatically load up into Meta Ads Manager. So then you, based on the connectivity that you had already defined, so you can again see these details directly into Meta. I can click on Pause here, or I can just essentially go with the recommendation where I select pause a particular ad. Okay, so as I mentioned, at the moment, Agentforce can only pause campaigns as per its recommendations. But down the line, as I mentioned, it could control your spend. It will tell you actually what should your spend be based on the campaign format. So if it tells you reduce it by 20%, you can then click on reduce by 20%, and then they'll automatically apply that change. You can reallocate spend from one campaign to another. It gives you the insights for based on specific creatives. So all that is going to be forward-looking statement in Agentforce in the near future. All right. So from a demo perspective, that was the last part of the demo. I'm just going to jump on back into my slides, and I'll quickly skim through what's available today from a release. So as Gilda mentioned, this was only released a few weeks ago, end of March. Everything that I showed you today from a demo perspective is GA. So to summarize, you'll have a out of the box dashboard when you first log in into Marketing Intelligence. And the part that I would have loved to show you today is this campaign summary, which unfortunately I was not able to load, but that is a AI insights that it will show you as you first log in. And as I've shown you on the right-hand side, you can then optimize campaigns in the near future by allocating spend or just pausing the campaign today. Data pipelines, as I mentioned, it's point and click. So we're just essentially 3 clicks, as if you remember. I selected the connector, I defined the connection, and finally is deploy of the ads ingestion into Market Intelligence. So this is all available today with data pipelines. Data patterns and enrichment, again, just to recap. So enrichment allows you to extend your data based on either normalizing it or extending it or grouping that data. And then with data patterns, you can split the data and define which position you want to extract it to a particular position, a particular dimension, apologies. You have AI generated campaign summaries. So this is, I wasn't able to show you these today, but again, it will tell you whether your market performance is on track, if it's slow, if it needs to be paused. So all that is available in your when you first log into Market Intelligence, and then you can define what the goals are, and then that would automatically reflect based on the data that would be ingested into Marketing Intelligence. As I mentioned, the main page is out of the box, so you don't need to do anything from a configuration perspective. So as you log into Market Intelligence, you would already have a predefined dashboard that will tell you exactly how your campaigns are performing with your goals, with your channels, and all the different campaigns. So all that is available when you first log in. Goal planning, which I touched on. So again, you can create as many goals as you like. These are defined based on the metrics that you would have ingested directly from the platform, from your social platforms, and then you can define what those value is with a start and an end date. And then finally, Agentforce. So the last part of the demo was using simple prompts. You can optimize your campaigns and pause them, reallocate spend, and so on in the near future. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the demo. I'll hand over to JB now to see if there's any questions.
Thanks, Ali. And this is the new feature that is being released, and it's great to know more in depth about that. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks, Jane, as well. And I'm looking at the questions here. Can this include sales data, since theoretically Sales Service Cloud data would be in Data Cloud? Correct, yes. So everything on the Salesforce platform, on the core platform, will be available within Market Intelligence as long as you ingest that data into Data Cloud. That is correct. That's great. Are there any role limits or considerations for ingestion of data into Marketing Intelligence? Any what? Sorry, JB, or the first part? Are there any role limits or consideration for... No. So it is going to be a consumption pricing model. So there is no limitation on how many rows that you ingest. You just have to ensure that it aligns with your pricing structure, because it is going to be based on rows and consumption. Okay. And is the data coming directly from the ad network to optimize? Correct, yes. Direct, as you build a connection with all the different ad networks, with all the social networks, this is ingesting data into Market Intelligence, and initially in real time as you deploy it, and then you would define the schedule on how frequently you want that data to be refreshed. Awesome. What is the difference between MI and Tableau?
Tableau, I mean, if I was going to summarize it into two different categories, so Tableau I'd say is more of a BI tool, so where you can build visualization dashboards based on data across all different data sets, not necessarily just marketing. I'd say marketing intelligence is purely for marketing intelligence, so it allows you to ingest data directly from the social platforms, from your email campaigns. So it's really one is a BI tool and one is more of a marketing intelligence tool.
Thanks, Ali. Is it important to learn Tableau for B2B marketer?
I wouldn't say so. No, I mean, as you saw as part of the demo, the Tableau Next visualization tool, it's self-intuitive. You don't need to know the full extent of all the Tableau capabilities. Tableau Next is empowering marketing intelligence just to simply create your visualizations into your dashboards. So I wouldn't say no, you have to be a Tableau expert to use MI. It's quite easy to create it without really having any past Tableau experience.
Wonderful. The next question, is this product license-based or consumption-based? How does that affect credit consumption?
So I don't know the exact consumption credits in terms of how many credits it will consume based on the rows of data, but it is, I mean, you'll have to obviously purchase the initial license, but then everything going past that license, where there is ingesting data, and the number of rows that you ingest into market intelligence will be priced accordingly based on that against that consumption. So it's two parts.
Thank you. There is also another question about whether it would work for the clients who do not have the Salesforce CRM.
So similar to how you can purchase Data Cloud without necessarily having sales and service. I mean, you have now the foundation SKU that you would typically get, which has all the key components. I think that's going to be mandatory for this to work. So you need Data Cloud to empower marketing intelligence. So I can't speak on behalf of the AEs, but my assumption would be is you would need to purchase marketing intelligence, and there'll be a Data Cloud SKU in there to empower MI. But that's something I can confirm and get back to that question after the call.
And the next question, are these connections out of the box, or do they require custom development? This is specific for the likes of TikTok, Snapchat, or lesser known channels, and assuming Meta and Google Ads, LinkedIn will be supported out of the box.
Correct. Yeah. So I'll just quickly jump back in again. So I just click over here. So when I click on new pipeline, so yes, so all these third-party vendors, there are already out of the box, so no customization required. So everything is just simply configuring with a connection where you type in your credentials and you're immediately connecting that to marketing intelligence. As I mentioned, these connectors are continuously evolving, and there'll be more connectors down the line. In the meantime, if you don't have if you're trying to ingest a data source which isn't available, we have Total Connect. So Total Connect, again, it's a technology that you might be familiar with using Datorama. You can just use upload files. So if I click on next and go over here, I have a file already available. So this is an example of a file for Adjust from a mobile app analytics perspective. So if I click on next, it would give me a snapshot of my data. So here are my date, the campaign, the network, and then obviously some of the metrics that I would like to ingest into marketing intelligence. Next part is mapping that data. So on the left-hand side, you'll have all the fields that are available in the CSV file. And on the right-hand side is a model, a predefined data model that you can just simply connect, similar to Data Cloud. If you're familiar how you do data modeling in Data Cloud, you'll be able to do the same thing. You can switch the model. So if, for example, this model does not it's not tailored based on the data set that you would have ingested using Total Connect. If I click on switch model over here, you have a couple of model templates. So we have for conversions, we have delivery, delivery verification, web analytics event, and web analytics page. So if I click onto a particular data model that I want to use, while you're actually defining that data model, as I mentioned, similar to using out-of-the-box connectors, it will automatically deploy the data streams, the transformations, the DLOs, and the DMOs as part of this deployment. So if I click on apply, and just say okay, you'll see that the values on the right-hand side has changed depending on the model type. And again, the mapping was disconnected. So you'll have to just ensure that your data that you imported through a CSV file is you're allocating the right data model template when you're using Total Connect.
This looks great, Ravi. Thanks for adding more details to that. The next question, where is Light Connect for data which doesn't come in marketing category or to upload Excel sheet, CSV, etc.?
That's what I actually just showed, the Total Connect. So that's exactly what I just showed right now.
Okay. Where can we find I think you just showed, where can we find the connectors like Light Connect, Snowflake, and Salesforce, or are they available in this environment?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the same place, which is when you add a new data pipeline, you have that all over here.
Do we have options to total replace or partial addition of data?
Was that API, sorry, JB? So I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat that, please?
We have options to total replace or partial add data.
Yes, you can. So once your data streams has been created, you essentially would go into Data Cloud and define what that refresh type is, whether it's a delta, whether it's a full refresh. So for every deployment that you create, it would create all the necessary configurations on Data Cloud, and then you can define the schedule and the whether it's partial or full refresh as part of that configuration.
Wonderful. And if we want to try marketing intelligence, is there a demo org available for that?
At this point of time, no. So there is the SDOs. If you're a partner, the SDOs are continuously being added with all the latest in features. So if you download an SDO that has Agentforce, and now you can add Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud Advanced. But in the near future, SDOs and potentially developer accounts will have that. Will have marketing intelligence. But today it isn't available, so it will be in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Good to know. How can we create different users for Salesforce Intelligence? I mean, I think that is the marketing intelligence, like data viewer, administrator, etc. Yeah,
so you would have similar how you create your users on Salesforce. So you simply just go to setup, create users. So there'll be marketing intelligence specific permission sets with different permissions, and you would just allocate those to the user, similar how you would create a Data Cloud user or a Marketing Cloud Advanced user and sales or service user.
Awesome. So in order to work with the marketing intelligence, what clouds do we need to already have enabled? We know that Data Cloud and Marketing on Core is required. Anything else which is required to be able to use this?
No, mainly Data Cloud. No additional clouds is required to empower marketing intelligence. So you'll just need the Data Cloud.
That helps. And the next question, why is the system automatically removing hyphens from the data when using pattern? Is this expected behavior or can it be modified? I think it was the question.
Yeah, no, so I manipulated. I made that change. So no, it would pick up all the different delimiters when you're selecting a pattern. So if I just quickly go back in here again, and just select campaign name. Okay, so you essentially, when I apply this, you can see it recognizes the delimiter on every position. So on here, this is a dash, this is an underscore. So you can change the delimiter from an underscore to a line to a slash, depending on how you want to group certain values together. So it's totally configurable as per the data that you want to extract into your dimensions.
That's great. And everyone, we do have a couple of questions from the chat, and we can take questions directly from you. If you want to ask the question directly, please raise your hand. And moving on to the next question, Ali, can we also schedule data pulls on an hourly, daily, or custom basis?
So at the moment, it's aligned to the same scheduling timelines as Data Cloud, which is the 12 and 24-hour scheduling. I believe that might be changed in the near future. I don't know exactly the frequency type that you can define. That's something that we can confirm and answer after the session, JB.
Okay. And when a connection breaks or fails, any place where we can check the
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So when you go back into data pipelines, you will have your last run status, and then obviously the time was done. Next run, and over here, anything that has failed, you will get this error to say your data stream has failed, and then you'll also get a notification to tell you that it's been failed. So this overview screen gives you a snapshot of what's working and what's not.
That makes sense. And this is, if you have any idea about the roadmap, will there be any possibility in the future to create app exchange space similar to Datorama, where already dashboards which are built or present and we can retrieve those? Any?
That's a great question. I don't know, to be honest with you. I can only assume yes at some point, but again, forward-looking statement. Similar to how we have agent exchange now with Agentforce, I think that will probably mainly be used with MI, but with Datorama at this point in time, similar to Datorama, I don't know. So I only assume yes, but possibly sometime next year.
Awesome. I think we covered all the questions in the chat. Anyone, if you want to unmute and ask the question directly, please let us know. So there is one more question. Will this potentially replace intelligence reports in MCE over time?
Not anytime soon. I mean, similar to how we have Marketing Cloud Advanced and Growth on Core now, but Marketing Cloud Engagement is still here today and is widely used by many clients, by many industries. So the answer to that is not anytime soon. No, I think you'll still have both platforms running, but I think you will see a shift where people will start moving away from Datorama into the newer MI on Core.
Wonderful. I think that is it, Ali. If you don't have anything else, then we can call it a wrap.
Nope, we're all good. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Please ask any questions that you might have after the call. If you remembered any, we have a Slack channel for MC Learning Camp. You can join our Slack channel and ask any questions that you may have, and we'll post the recording and the slides after the session.
Wonderful, and thank you very much, Ali, for putting this together and for your patience answering all the questions. And thank you, Steve. And thanks everyone for joining the session today. We hope to see you again next Tuesday. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.